Good evening, everyone. I am Mr. Brad Chester, the old man of the sea. I guess the sea. Old man and the sea. Old man with the sea. I don't know. My last name starts with C. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But I am the defender of the craft worlds, and I am joined by these illustrious gentlemen. That's when you guys introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, we don't know which one's going first is the problem.
I'm Stephen Crawley, the killer of the Dark Angels.
What a dick. Guy ruined everything.
A judge and apparently right now a tired player.
I'm Thomas Ogden, and I get to be the last guy to introduce himself.
Pew pew indeed, my man. We had a bunch of stuff happen this weekend. We had things, stuff. Craft Worlds flew in. There was a retirement party for the Dark Angels Terminators.
That was a great time.
And you know what we found? Tom really broke out of the meta and played this meta breaker army called Imperial Guard and had a game almost last 20 minutes once. And then you saw him, he got real sweaty. He was like, I don't understand what's going on. Every model should have been dead by now.
I mean, at least Brad is consistent. Whether he's playing Tau or Guard, he must table his opponent within
immediately. Lyle throwing smoke. He goes, I'm just here to say I could win a GTU if I could dodge Octodal all weekend. I mean, you could, unless I was also there. But then, shots fired back.
Yeah.
Pew, 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 pew. That is true. Deep Lux goes, you did it right before the line came out. What a meanie. Otherwise known as way to ruin our faction when our Primarch's coming out, dick.
I love that, like, all the people this weekend were like, you already got Dark Angels nerfed. You don't need to run them this weekend. And I was like, what about Manny Chima? Like, why did I get Dark Angels nerfed?
Because it was a US-based tournament, and it was FLG, and it was, well broadcast.
It was good times in this. I got a bag to go. Ogden as a fanboy, he dodged Brad. The Uthway would have destroyed you.
Yeah.
I have to give Tom credit on this. I've seen him win some games quickly, but I've never seen him win 4 games in a row so fast that he was basically almost watching my deployment. And I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. I feel like Tom just throws gasoline on his opponent's models and sets them on fire. That's the lethality of his guard. Also, I'm pretty sure that, in secret, all of Tom's tanks and sentinels have little marks of corn on them because he was pushing them forward so quickly. They were just like, what? You want some of this?
Yeah,
So-
I have to say. And all of
Tom, what did you play against as you went on this mass terror with Guard?
Played against Eldar twice. Played against another Guard. Played against Space Marines. And I forget the last one. Orcs.
You've been different stuff. You did smash, dude. Congratulations this weekend. I mean, you put up. You were going to put up more than a 500, but you apparently couldn't find any extra points to put up.
Oh, I mean, it was a great weekend for us. Obviously, I'm going a little bit crying cut right now. I'm sorry about that, guys, if you're listening to me, but our boy Brad brought it home with Eldar, complete anti-meta list, and played some super solid people, and had some great wins against factions he shouldn't have won against. And the best part is, I think we've seen so much sportsmanship at the event that all our guys looked great. We had 4 teams attendance, including Brian's team, 13th Legion was there, and they absolutely crushed the hobby aspect. Really fun weekend. Great event ran by Dom, and
Team did super, super well.
Yeah.
I mean,
7 of the top 10?
Yeah, DOG was 7 of the top 10.
Yeah.
We did great. It was fantastic.
like you said, the best thing was is that we kept sportsmanship on top. So
Go to the wall real quick. What was my main secondaries to the Uthway list? I took Scout and behind enemy lines pretty much almost every game. They're such a good combo. If you can get one, you just automatically are getting the other. Felt good. Felt like a good mix of love.
So with the meta shifting with the data balance slate update, what's everyone shifting to, moving around, changing in their list to accommodate for that?
Whoa, we can't skip it completely. We do have to give Crowley some props.
Oh, that's right. We got to give Crowley props.
Come on, man. We can't leave our boy in the dust here.
I mean, but he was playing in a mall. Does that really count?
I mean, true. We give him minus one prop because of the mall.
All right.
Plus one because of the margarita. So he's back to even.
All right.
Tell
All right,
us.
if you unmute yourself, Crowley, it helps.
But also, he played his son, so that's like +5 right there. So
I lost to my son. So extra
that's
credit,
-5 now. Jesus. Okay, now you're back in the
credit
negative.
to Brandon Valee for getting me so intoxicated that I could not actually play my list.
I don't know. Roland of Gilead's rocking the shit out, bro. He doesn't play that.
I'm going to give a shout out to my kid. He played that exceptionally well. I laid a trap for him because he took what's it called? Orc Mortalis, which was probably an interesting call. So I tried to stat check him, and he actually did a really good job of refusing the flank hard to the left, shooting everything into the unit, and then killing it down to the one dude left that was protecting, and then charging that and killing it. And I was like, that was actually really well done. Now, if you could only execute that all the time, it'd be fantastic.
I do have a request. We're going to talk about your last game versus Mr. Rice and his Knights, and what would have been the best play for him in that match. If he's going to replay it, you were doing the maximum Knight mojo for it.
He should not have. He made a very strategic play, in that he went forward with his Big Knight, because his Big Knight had both defensive invuln abilities. So if he rotated or anything like that. And he wanted to do the action to get the 5 points there, so that way then he could throw small knights over time to be able to do it. But the problem is that with the Big Knight, if your Big Knight dies, you lose your permanent buffs that you've already put out, in addition to the ability to put out more permanent buffs. And you needed that 4-up invuln and -1 damage for the rest of the time. So he made a very high risk, high reward play, and it did not work out because 6 Terminators were able to, with +1 to wound, Chapter Master, Assault Doctrine, were able to pop that Big Knight.
Sorry, I was reading Hunter's quote of beat by your kid. Now he's going to challenge you on everything in life.
And Brad, I know you're doing paid coaching for him. Sean's going to help him. He wants to play Tau now. He wants to be like Uncle Tom and end his games in 20 minutes and be able to relax for the rest of the round. So I might even talk to Tom about seeing if we can get all 3 y'all coaching him at once. What an undeniable Tau player he will be at that point.
I mean, I did announce this week I'm going back to Tau, so.
Uh-oh.
Love it.
I miss it.
All hail the cow indeed, my friends. The cow is all powerful. Moo. So, do we want to talk about list changes now? We gave some props. You know what? I got a little graphic I'm pulling up. Bing! I cut off a little Tom's head, a little bit of mine. You know what? I'm covering Brian up.
That's fine.
So let's talk about it. We have the data slate came out. We got the top winners and losers from the data slate. How the lists are changing now. Let's talk about new Tau. I got them at the top. Broadside's now core. And we've got some changes to the top armies, of course. Dark Angels losing Inner Circle. No more transhuman. You've got a little bit of a nerf to the guard, with the Finial not doing hit modifiers. And also, I don't really think it's a nerf, because we all knew what was coming. It was basically them clarifying the fact that Casterkins only do 6 mortals. Where do you think Tau, what's that new Tau list look like? What's the basis of it?
I see a lot of different Tau lists going out there. For me, I was talking about lots of people, especially in our Patreon chat early on, and I wasn't sure if broadsides was like a guaranteed take, like an auto include. But I mean, on that ride home, we had 4 hours, and we talked about Tau for 3 of it. I think me and Brad both agrees that 1 unit of broadsides an auto include. You can have us has 2 or 3 units of them. I think it's a little bit overkill, just because the game is still pretty fast. But having a Riptide, 1 Crisis Squad still, long strike, some stealth suits, and if you're playing a GW train, you got to have a Gold Star. If you're not playing GW train, you can swap out the Gold Star for the Crisis Squad. But that's pretty much going to be like the foundation of the list. And it's really nice because when you send that crisis brick forward, you generally had some of your buffs sitting in the back that can't follow it. Now you have a squad that can be buffed up and extremely deadly. And it also helps you against demons, which is one of the weaknesses of Tower now. So it's going to be a pretty strong list, I think.
I agree on that. I think that Tau kind of snuck up. It wasn't the biggest thing in the core, but I think of the combinations of the nerfs and that are going to make them very, very strong. I think you're going to see Tau's place in the meta move significantly up. Now, somebody that plays a lot of these, Crowley, what's the new Dark Angels mojo? Is it? I mean, it's a straight Raven Wing. Do we run a combination list? Are we still running Terminators? Still a good value, not transhuman, but like, are we running a faster army? Looks more like what Tom was running at the beginning of. Was the beginning of 9th or in the 8th, Tom?
It was during the Drukhari heyday. You talking about the Dark Angels?
Yeah.
Drukhari heyday.
I honestly think that DA are going to suffer significantly, and that doesn't mean that they're bad right now, but I think they're going to fall out of meta significantly because the thing that they did better than the others was the resiliency with the transhuman in addition to having the mobile elements. I know I was running more of a skew, but that was just because of how the meta is currently. I just don't think that they do the things that Marines want to do better than the other chapters, right? If you want to shoot with like a Raven Wing list, Iron Hands just does it better currently. If you want to be able to do more melee focused or more combined arms focused, Space Wolves do that better. The guard and especially now with the rise of Tau, I just don't think that you're going to want to do DA in a competitive aspect unless you're just a diehard DA player, and then you're going to go back to that combined arms function of few bikes, some Terminators to hold down your center for O's and stuff like that. But we're going to go right back to where we were before the points changes occurred, where it's fragile, and now you don't have the combination to for the reduction of AP armor of contempt.
So let's move on just to the next list. We've got a couple armies that I think really gained by just not being touched. World Eaters, secondaries didn't get touched, which was crazy time because those are mad good secondaries. Wolves didn't get any of their melt or anything touched. They still have that really good hybrid damage output. Orcs get the good bits. None of that got. I still think they're in a pretty good position. And I think demons are fantastic good position because a couple of the things that were bad for them got taken down, and they've still got some really strong play into a lot of things. Minik took a Zinch army this weekend that I thought was really good, and that army still has great secondary play also, and it's got a lot of deny on that. So what are your guys' thoughts about those four armies in the meta with some people getting taken down and them not getting touched?
I think to me, Demons is the one that's standing out. I think there's just so much play there. And with going into GW terrain season, the melee that they can provide and what they can output and the way their secondaries work, I think they're going to be one of the top 3 armies.
I agree on that. I just think that also just having that undeniable invuln, you can't mess with it. You can't change it. Can't ignore it. Plus, again, any army that has just good secondaries is going to be a threat. I mean, hell, we had Necrons just being in the top of the meta for a while just with their secondaries. They got a little touch, but I think the World Eaters is a scary army. Tons of damage with 2 basically auto take secondaries, and their 3rd book secondary is not bad either.
I really think that demons are going to be the standout now because as the meta is going to go more and more ranged heavy, I feel like demons excel into that. I do think that demons are kind of like GSC, that they're a more rarely played army. I think they're exceptionally good. The only problem with World Eaters is I feel like they are so reliant on going first. And if you don't go first, you put yourself in a really bad circle.
I don't know about that. I played World Eaters at Adepticon, and I felt that just because of, we didn't use the secondaries there, but just to play itself, the army is such a board control army that is much better for them. But I think the army that is really first turny turn dependent, I guess. First turny. I'm just gonna make up words today. Fuck it. As orcs, you know what I mean? Because I think that game is night and day different whether orcs get first or second turn. Still a strong army, but like, man, they can do some oppressive stuff to you if they get that first turn and pin you in the corner. Uh-oh, Corey's like, my Necrons smoked the World Eaters.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I just feel like orcs and world eaters are kind of samey, and I feel like they suffer from the same problems with the go second.
You can pin the orcs in a little bit more than you can with the world eaters. The orcs just have a little more versatility because they actually have shooting and some psychics and stuff in there, while the world eaters do. If we have a proliferation of transport armies come back, which I don't know if we're going to get it all, then the world eaters would have to make their army significantly different, and they can't just optimize it. Because right now we really just don't have very many armies that you have to worry about what's inside. You don't have to get to the secret cream filling.
I see that.
So, Horde, let's talk about the fact that your Tyranids going to make a comeback before 10th edition?
In 10th edition, sure. in this edition, I mean, I've been tinkering and trying all different kinds of lists to try and find something. And I went, the one event I went to, and I tried something, and I went, all right, yeah, that was a terrible idea, and it was bad. And then I was like, but part of it was good, and it works pretty well into the current meta because Gene Stealers being up the board. But if you don't go first, those Gene Stealers then become a detriment, because with no ability to redeploy them, it's kind of a pain in the ass. I don't know. I just think right now the points increases were too much with the nerfs as well. And yes, they rolled some of them back, but they didn't roll back. They did just without any points reductions. It's just too hard to get them to function. I think they can top 4 an event, but I don't think they're going to win a lot of events.
I know I've seen a unconventional Tyranid list give Brad a run for his money at the GT this last weekend.
He played great. I did not play Hail. The funny thing is I played it all. You would have loved it, Horton. He played like triple Exocrine. He had double or triple Maliceptor, Walking Hive Tyrant. So it's all this T8 stuff with a 2-up save. And I'm used to my Hail. And I went into it and I'm like, pew pew. And the big bugs kind of looked at me and went, oh, that was cute. And I was like, run away, run away.
Yeah, so the list I'm currently working on that might take to the Invitational, I haven't quite decided yet, is a bunch of T8 stuff along with a whole bunch of Termagants. And I mean like a whole bunch.
All of the Termagants. Hold on. I've got that. Somewhere in here I've got my everyone. Damn it.
I really do wish they would undo, like, if I could pick one points change, undo the points change to Zoas. Especially
that is so much, dude.
Right? Like, it's the combination of removing transhuman and making them cost 1 billion points. Like, you could go either or. We don't need to Votan the crap out of them, though.
Yes, the problem is when they do that.
If I could pick one thing to get points reductions back on, crisis suits.
Tau doesn't need freaking points reductions, man. They're already super strong.
Like, and the Tyranid Warriors with losing transhuman and getting the points increases was a little rough. It's just, it took a lot of stuff that was staples out, and I thought maybe that would be the 2 things they would fix, is that I've been like, yep, Zoes are back to 50, and Tyranid Warriors don't have to pay for those 2 weapons. Making them...
Oh, that was so dumb too. Hey, Warriors didn't get touched. You're like, unless you want to bring any weapons on them. I love Magus. Those Zoes know what they did.
I mean, they're not wrong. They touched a lot of people in a lot of bad spots, but now without transhuman, they're just easily to pick up. At least in my opinion, it's just they're still okay, but at 210 points for a unit, they don't do enough to justify them being in a list.
What do you think about Horde versus non-Horde right now? Because we've got a lot of lists that are really focused on big damage.
That's why I'm kind of focusing on Horde bugs. A couple T8 things that are, like Tervagons in particular, because you can hide them behind 120 gaunts, and you're not chewing through 120 gaunts typically in a turn. Maybe Tom's an exception to that. but you're not chewing through 120 gaunts in a turn to get to the big guys, and you can refill stuff and bring new units in. I think it's got play. The Desolation Marines, though, are still a problem. Mortars are still in existence, so there's some problems there.
Sure. Well, you know what? For everybody that's got that, I even have Desolators in my Space Wolves army, but like, if Desolators weren't in the meta right now, I think the meta would be delicious. Holy shit, those guys suck ass against certain armies. Man.
But I mean, the factions that we would pick as top as they're building now, because I know we haven't seen the changes for post data slate aggressively. Guard can handle carpets really effectively in the current build. Tau effectively handle carpets really effectively into the current build. GSC just matches carpet for carpet, and demons do pretty well, especially since they're still taking flamers, especially if they lean into Bellicor or Chapter Master. So I mean, I don't know, like the armies that are good right now accidentally solve hordes. So it's very difficult just to pivot into hordes to solve the current meta.
Sorry, I'm covering Tom up because, man, his face was starting to really bother me.
What do you think about that, Tom, as the resident guard expert of Doom?
I think guards gonna have a little bit of trouble with some of the matchups. I think they're still super strong. I think they're probably the second best codex in the game. I don't even put GSC above them, but it just depends on the terrain and the GT style. Honestly, in my opinion,
GSC's super strong still. I don't think that the small nerfs they took in the data slate are be more precise on your movement with your secondaries than anything else. So,
Yeah, super strong. I think GSC are going to hold strong all the way until 10th at this point, too.
I agree. It's such an army. It's one of the armies that just has an answer to everything. And it can be super overpowering in the fact that they have good secondaries. They don't even have the best secondaries, but they have such dominant ability to just take away primary from your opponent. They're scoring 8s and 12s, and they can give away 4s and 0s so easy. And that's so hard to overcome at the end. You have 2 turns of taking a goose egg, man. The game's just over at that point in time.
Yeah. And I can always pivot and run GSC at the Invitational, but I don't have enough reps with it right now to feel confident.
Well, and the other thing is, too, when an army, like we had this a little bit in the beginning of the AdMech meta until they became more proliferant, the fact that GSC is such a hard hobby lag faction and also difficult to play, it makes it not feel as oppressive because you don't see nearly as many of them.
True. And it isn't forgiving. You can make a couple errors and lose 60 models in a turn with a quickness. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you that. You see top forum and nothing else. That's his actual profile pic. If you go to a dating site, he just puts his forum out there. It's that powerful. That's his dice rolling hand. That's what does the magic in the game right there. So I'll give you a quick idiotic story for the weekend of this. So Tom leaves to go get some stuff from Matt. Thank you for having us at your house. Matt Tarantino had us over this weekend, and they leave. And Tom Stable was just sitting there. He still has his dice out. And I just rolled his dice once, and I Brad rolled him. It was just 1s, 2s, and 3s. And I go, Tom, I'm freezing out your dice. He's like, no, they know when Daddy comes back that they'll know who to work for. I'm just saying.
That's a true story. The thing is, I roll better than you because I believe I'm going to roll better than you. You roll bad because you believe you're going to roll bad. There's a big difference there.
You gotta get the positivity in life, baby. Mm-hmm. I'll go to Zach on this. Where do Votann sit in the meta with the changes for the other armies? That is a tough man. Votann is just such a wild card.
Upper B tier, lower A tier.
Votann as an army are fantastic. They are amazing. The synergies, even with the book nerfs, are really good. Their secondaries are dog shit and rely upon you being able to table your opponent, and your opponent can hide the entire game because they don't have to score high.
And it's such a mission secondary. Like, man, they feel so ridiculous. Sometimes you're playing, board quarter deployment, and they go first, and you just get smoked. And then you'll play something like, Hammer and Anvil with Recover the Relics, And it feels like the Votain can't do anything because they have shit secondaries and you don't need to expose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I agree on that one.
I'm stuffing a piece of food in my face, so talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I have a quick question for you guys, just because I'm pretty pumped about it, and it's rare that I get pumped about something that's not like competitive of that aspect. But is anyone else really liking these new Terminator models? I fucking love them.
Oh, they are pretty. The one question I've got is, are they going to do the thing that I think a lot of players would love them to do? Chapter specific upgrade sprues for those, like they do for like the Primaris Marines and stuff like that. If GW put those out at like, we'll say $20 a sprue, right? In the little blister pack, wouldn't anyone who's really specialized and wants to upgrade their Terminators be like all over that in a heartbeat?
100%.
I know that I'm glad that my Terminators are all one loadout because I didn't magnetize them, because now I have an excuse to buy the new kit.
We need.
I agree with you.
We
The
actually.
new Librarian is an amazing model.
That new Librarian. You know what? I'm gonna get that guy. I'm gonna put him on screen. Holy shit, that's a cool model.
The best Space Marine axe I think they've ever made.
I was talking to my good friend Neil, who agree with him fully. If Grey Knights don't get their freaking 5 SKUs updated to Primaris at this point, like, come on now, GW, come on, it's time. We can do the size upgrade now.
Give them some new units.
I think, by the way, Michael, I think Templars are actually not in a bad spot at all. They're one of the armies that can do all right in Codex Warfare still, just because that counts as other doctrines. They have a decent amount of that. But they're just a super strong army that can really push hard still. Getting free invulns on all your vehicles with free multi-meltas, you really can't really complain about that. Like, it's a super durable army. We had Matt, who's been practicing for a little bit now, went to the GT and did extremely well. So I don't really see Templars dropping down at all. I think, if anything, they're going to get a little bit better, because I think armies like Guard have a little bit less utility to deal against them with the Karskin nerf. And I don't know. I just see them getting better and better.
They also have the best Terminators in the game now, with the fact that they can still have the mini transhuman and the better chaplain buffs and devout push. Like, if I was wanting to continue that Terminator spam, Grimaldus would be getting a phone call.
And +1 strength from Helbrecht.
Yeah.
I agree with you. They're one of the armies that doesn't need an apothecary for feeling of pain, but I think you're still going to bring one just because you want to be able to revive. But it's a great army, backed by some very cheap gladiators that, let's be honest, are underpriced. And when you could take 125 point, was it a Lancer, give it a free invul and a 5-up, can never be wounded on 2, so fuck you, Space Wolves. And just for shits and giggles,
I feel targeted by that.
And just for shits and giggles, let's give them 2 Melta shots for free as well.
God, that new Librarian model is so gorgeous.
We didn't give Matt enough props for that. Matt did came in third. We went 1, 2, 3 at the tournament.
Yeah, besides last year's DLG Invitational, I think it's Matt's first time podium at a GT, and his only loss was to me, and it was a close game.
I do have to say my view of the Librarian is a little skewed, because I have a text thread with Eloise, who's in here right now, who started calling him Power Nipples because of the blue on it. And then Kramer completely destroyed my mind by sending me a commercial where a guy comes to jump a car and hooks the jumper cables to his nipples and starts dancing to Salt and Pepper, and then fires the car up like that. And I'm like, well, this Librarian is forever tainted in my head. And also, Old Man Terminator. We've got 2-time divorced Lion. We've got the Old Man Terminator Libby. These guys are all seen some things. I can relate to this army.
It is interesting that we're seeing so much ageism with the new the new model. Really.
Well, you've got some of these dudes that have been around forever.
I have a question for you, Crowley, because as a fellow Dark Angel fanboy, how do you feel about not only just the line coming back, but they have a storyline where like he calls a bunch of Fallen to him, and they're like helping defend the Dark Angels.
Yeah, I don't understand this at all. Like, I was expecting him to go hunting some hoes and giving us a real good time with the but I mean, he doesn't even have the sword now. But yeah, no, I was expecting a lot different than him reuniting the Fallen, but it sounds like more opportunities for more skews or sprues, so I am okay with this in the long run. But it was a really weird or really interesting lore choice.
I actually liked it. I agree with you. I didn't see it coming forward, but I don't know. The way it was explained to me, I haven't read it yet. I really liked it. And Jake, normally I'm all over chat, but as you can tell from my voice today, I'm not talking as much as I normally do. I don't want to drown out your ears with me coughing every 10 words. But
I, of course, respond to the chat because I have the attention span of a gnat. So if you say something, I'll probably look at it.
yeah, but we normally, we're usually much more engaged with the chat. It's just I'm the one that like constantly takes us off tangent and talks with chat. And today, you got sick me.
Well, currently you've got Siku replaced by a Terminator librarian. This is true, Eldrad. That is actually how I built that Earthway list, by the way. I went into Battlescribe and clicked Eldrad, and it went, all right, now we can figure everything out after that. But we've got the primary reason to play Earthway, Eldrad. I did I dropped some lore nerd stuff on Tom because I was telling him how in the Horus Heresy, Eldrad literally went to Fulgrim and said, Horus, your brother, is going to fall to chaos. And Fulgrim lost his shit and killed everybody that was with Eldrad. And Eldrad was like, Jesus, dude, chill. And then like a day later, Horus was like, yo, man, I joined chaos. And Fulgrim was like, all right, cool, I'm in. like, dick move, man. Dick move. Oh, dude, I don't know about it. Does anybody actually own the Brian, do you have a lion? Do you actually own a lion?
I will on Friday.
It's just Deflect's talking about the fact that they're already just like eBay craziness on it.
I can, so to put everybody's mind at ease, I asked every one of my customers that emailed me or messaged me saying, I really want a lion. And I went, well, they restricted the stores to 3. And I actually sat for myself, not buying it from the store because I wanted my customers to get it on GW's website and prayed and got one. And every customer who asked me about pre-ordering it, I had to tell them all the same thing. They're going to be first come, first serve when they get there Saturday morning. So I assume there'll be a line out the door. All of them I told to email GW's customer service, and they all got the same canned response back. And it said, this is the limited edition box set of him with retinue. Him in an individual kit by himself will be coming in the short near future. So please don't pay eBay prices just to get him for a few weeks. Hold off, everybody. He will be available.
I'm going to throw this out to Crowley with me because we were talking a little bit about this already. Crowley, what do you think about Talos and Kronos getting core again? Is it going to make Thick City happen again? Remember that Artisans of Flesh is still nerfed down to Ramshackle, basically, which is it's -1 damage unless it's strength 8 or higher. And we have a metric ton of strength 8 or higher weapons right now.
That's why you'll go Dark Technomancers, and I think you will. Like, honestly, I'm going to be running that list a little bit to be doing some limit testing for it. But I do think right now it's really good. The +1 to wound is really good into guard on the Talos's heat lances. And of course, the Spirit Probe double spray on the Kronos still works exactly like it did before. So you're really good into that. It's just going to be more of a fragile list than it was before. But 6-up invuln up to a 5-up invuln, 5-up feel no pain models that can get revived in their tough 7 is still a hell of a drug.
I mean, revived, healed. I mean, the Oculus is healing. They're getting the plus to toughness again. There was a reason why that army got played. And that's one of those things that won't have hobby lag because people already owned that army. So that thing could show up instantly, So I actually think that might have an immediate meta impact if it's going to. Because you just have.
I don't think it is.
You think so? Why not?
I think when that army was in existence before, Guard wasn't around and neither was Tau. And both of those factions have such high power shooting that they can blow through those Talons and Chronos like nothing.
You know what was around during that time, my good friend? AdMech. You know it shoots almost as good as Guard and stuff did at release? AdMech.
AdMech does and it doesn't.
And chickens have a higher output than
Mark?
Actually, a Crisis Squad outperforms Chickens point by point quite laughably. Yeah, they have nice like blast cannons, but the amount of firepower that this Crisis Squad can.
Sorry, Tom. We will be quiet because that will just go shush. Nipple librarian is talking.
Yes. Librarian is talking. No, I respect your opinion on that. I agree. I want to actually see. I want to play into you as a good top player with that list to see, because I think you'd be a good limit test, because it's difficult to get practice games into strong Tau players. But I think it does have play. I don't think it's an easy win for the Drukhari player, right? But in the overall meta, right? Like I think that list has a really good play into GSC, which is a good place to be at right now.
Yeah, I don't know, and I also agree with Michael. I think Templars with their mass multi-melta vehicles does really well against Thick City as well. So does Iron Hands right now. I get that AdMech was like super strong, but it wasn't just because of its shooting. It was its board control, it was its reserve manipulations, and it was, all of their infiltrators and stalkers, just a combo of things. Like, I just feel like Thick City, and not to mention, Thick City did lose to AdMech. It was its only kind of bad matchup.
Ooh.
But I still think Tau and Guard just will chew through Chronos.
I'm gonna go to the wall real quick because there was an awesome question. What would you recommend to play right now, everyone? I mean, obviously, it will pull it back. Whatever you like playing, because there is pretty much still play for most everything to do well. But besides just whatever you like, because I already stole that answer, I'm going to start at the top right here. I'm going with Brian. I'm going to work my way down. What would you recommend if you just wanted to do well for the rest of 9th edition? Give one or two.
I would recommend Space Wolves first and foremost, because it's probably one of the easier armies to put a high damage output on with decent board control. And then after that, I would say Guard, because there's a lot of games you can just win with Guard by being Guard.
I'll give you that. What about you, Crawley?
I honestly think, since I'll give two answers similar, Black Templar is in a really good spot right now, and getting your army, your marine models ready for being the first codex of 10th edition feels like a hell of a drug. I would also say Tau, especially with Tau getting broadsides its core back. They're in a really good spot. It's a really well-faceted army. It has a very decent skill floor so that you can pick it up pretty well and do well, but it has an extremely highly expressive skill ceiling, so you'll always have room to grow. And its secondaries are mostly competitive and in a good spot.
For me, that'd be a loaded question. Like, we talking someone that's just now starting a hobby, what to pick up and try. We're talking about a competent player that can play most armies well. Or we talking somebody that has the ability to take a high-skilled army and take it to its limit. I mean, if we're talking about someone who can take a codex to its limit, I think GSC. I think GSC has the least amount of weaknesses. I think it's also a very cool army. I kind of like the fluff behind it too, and it's a great army. If also we're talking about high skilled, I think also Yanari is really strong right now in most matchups. It's a very hard codex to play. If we're talking about someone like mid table and stuff, going off that, I'm gonna say Black Templars or Iron Hands, just because they're going to be really good, or even White Scars in 10th edition, in my opinion, and they're still super strong right now. So why not finish out the season with an army that's doing well and press out for next season? If you're talking like just cool factor, someone who's either all of those, someone just now get into it, you want a cool looking army, someone's mid tier and can do all right somewhere, someone's high ceiling, Tau all the way, baby. Love my Tau.
The Yanari are very hard to play, so that's a big thing. But when they lose a couple key pieces, the game can go away from them quickly. If if I was going to say something right now, I'd say the demons. Demons have really good play into everything. You already stole my Space Wolf thunder. I'm gonna finish the year off with Space Wolves. I'm gonna sneak in a little bit of Tau in there also, but cool factor Tau. I think the Tau are gonna be in a great place. I think the Space Wolves are in a great place, and I think that demons, if you're going for just kind of that army that can play pretty much into anything, demons are in a really great place. Good secondaries, obviously great, unmodifiable saves. They play well into pretty much everything. I don't know if they dominate anything, but they play super well into the whole meta. And that's all I have to say about the war in Vietnam. But I think that 100% that.
I mean, it's tough because when you say someone picking up an army, right, there is definitively a difference between Tom picking up an army or you picking up an army and your guy who's been playing for 6 months picking up a new army. The skill gap is there. I was answering as if, at that mid-table skill gap level, what's good to pick up. If you got to talk about picking up a brand new army and you're a high-level player who's in the top 50 of the ITC, I would be picking up GSC and Tau 100%.
Yeah, it's just, I think you're going to play demons if you're just picking them up, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you have at least a basic understanding of it, demons can be played. I think that if you just don't know GSC in and out, that army's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, Brad, how about this? Like, let's get to the theme of the video. Let's talk about our new list for the old meta. We talked about my new Tau. You said you're going to play out Space Wolves, right? Tell everyone, like, what's the Space Wolves looking like?
So my Space Wolves right now are Captain on bike with fights last and hunters, so I can do advance and charges, and then I can give an aura advance and charges. 1 or 2. The only real changes depend on how I arm the Wolf Guard, because it goes with 1 or 2 units of infiltrators. I've got 2 units of desolators, one devastator unit with grav, 3 units of Wolfen with all hammers, 3 units of Sky Claws with the 4 meltas, hammer, and a power fist, and then 3 units of Wolf Guard, 3 units of 5 Wolf Guard. And the only thing that changes is whether I take 2 or 1 infiltrators, because I can't load up everybody on hammers if I want double infiltrator. So it depends on what I think the meta is really going to be, and I'm hemming and hawing on that, because when we had all these Warden and Dark Angels and stuff like that, and a ton of tanks, I felt like I had to have almost maximum Thunder Hammers. And now it's, can I get away with running multiple squads of basically 4 Lightning Claws and a Thunder Hammer? So I'm only running 1 instead of 4. So that's I'll have to make that meta call on that. But that's why I'm debating on the changes, because you have to make a little bit of guesstimation on that. So I don't want to be chasing the meta, but I also want to be aware of the meta, as we always talk about.
I like some of the points you made there. So I just want to say real quick, Nicholas, the reason why me and Brad didn't play each other was it was a 5-round event, and there was enough players there to where you can't get it to 1 undefeated. And me and Brad were lucky enough that we didn't have to play each other as teammates. It was fun. And everyone knows I would have just tabled Brad anyway, so that took away his weekend.
Well, of course you would have, because you would have just won the roll to go first because you would have believed in it better.
Yeah, Brad would believe that he's going to roll 4. I know I'm rolling 6. So, but yeah, so that's why we didn't play each other. When you have an event with that many people, you just had a chance of not playing people. You have multiple undefeateds. No, I didn't win. Brad won. In all honesty, to Brad, he understands my play style very well. I think we both agreed that I had the advantage on armies, and the mission, if we would have played each other, would have been one of the better missions for Brad. So we both agree he has a shot. He has to play a very specific way and try to deny my style. So Brad had a one chance of winning. And plus he's Brad fucking Chester, you know what I mean?
Fucking Chester.
Yeah, they're Brad motherfucking Chester, my bad. So who knows what could have happened. I like to joke with him and tell him I'm gonna beat him. He's gonna joke with me until he's gonna beat me. It's because we love each other and we practice a lot together. So, but who knows? But yeah, I agree with you, Prophet. I am the true Tau. I'm coming back to Tau. Everyone knows if I had Tau, I would have just wrecked Brad. It wasn't even Brad knows at that point. But it was a good weekend. But that's all I gotta say about Vietnam.
Don't be stealing my thunder.
So Brad, they are the work in progress going on my paint table.
Hit me.
How well I can see. They're working. They're slow.
Oh, the
There's more
GSC.
detail in it.
I think that the thing is that we really went around the world on that. The original question of what would you play? Because I think that there's we still have a very viable meta right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was also waiting for Crowd to come back because I want him to answer it too. And he just decided to get up and walk away in the middle of a stream.
He just mic dropped.
Yeah. The question I asked Brad, and I'll ask you, Crowley, because I kind of answered it earlier. And unfortunately, I can't talk as long as you guys today, and I do apologize for that. But now that we've seen the data slate, we know what the last changes to this 9th edition. We're going to write out 9th edition till 10th, which we're all expecting, 2 months?
Yep.
What's the codex that you're going to run in tournaments for this next 2 months? And what's the list going to look like? So we want to know your new list for the old meta.
I don't know. The world is my oyster at this point, and I've got 2 different tracks, right? One, I've got the Kansas City track, which I'm looking at a couple of factions that are going to be good into attacker, so either like something like Drukhari or Demons, where I can taking the fight to those ranged heathens. But again, I'm not saying that Big City is the second coming right now. I want to get practice into it because I don't know. I played Big City back in the day, and it was very fun. But that was also a different meta, and -1 damage was the thing back then, right? For singles right now, I am continuing. I broke the rule this weekend because data slates, and also my kid made me promise to do it, and also a couple of friends to play DA one more time. But I'm currently on a track of not playing factions that I've already won something with. So I really want to bust out GK. They've got good passive scoring. They have a really good effective meta, and it's also just I'm chasing the adrenaline right now, right? Like I don't have that many singles events left in 9th that are going to be ones that are going to be scores for this year. So it's a little bit of the wild, wild west if I can just play whatever the heck I want and have a good time, knowing that in the beginning of 10th I'm going to have to hit something and hit it real hard, real quick, because right when 10th launches, we have I think 3 or 4 super majors in a 2-month thing or a 2-month window that we plan on hitting. And also I have some US meta is soft comments to make in English. So
I mean, the US meta is soft. But anyways, moving on from that. Brian, are you gonna play any tournaments before 10th? And if so, what's the list looking like for you?
So for me, I'm going to continue to play NIDS, even though I know they're probably not the best choice to podium with right now. I'm really torn between a very gaunt heavy list or something that is very, very skewed. Using Gorgon, probably in both of them right now because I really like wounding things on 4s. So it's a toss up for me right now. I really don't know 100% where I'm landing on it. I've been trying a couple different lists. We'll see where I land. It's tough because there's so many things that I would like to play, and every time I go to put the list together, it's just the points don't work out correctly for me. So I'm trying to find that happy medium. I've got a little bit of hobby ADHD right now where I've been bouncing from, I don't like this paint scheme to this paint scheme. I've tried building a different model, putting something together, and I can't find that focus. And I think part of it is because I see those new Tyranids coming, and in the back of my head, that's all I'm looking forward to, is a huge Tyranid player. But let's see, I've got the Invitational coming up. I've got another semi-invitational type thing coming up that's not there's 24 people in 5 rounds, so I guess it's technically a GT. But I'm looking forward to doing those 2 things and enjoying my time.
Nice. I like that.
And I did buy you a really nice gift the other day when I was at the distillery. So definitely going to be having I was thinking, because for Brad, I found Brad a nice wine, a barrel-aged apple wine, which I'm sure something he hasn't probably had in maybe ever.
I just got excited because I thought you said you bought me a barrel of wine. I was like, oh, challenge accepted, sir.
That'd be a half an evening drink for Brad. But,
I only took one bottle this time, Brad, not 8. But I got Tom a bottle of Honey Crisp vodka, which we make stuff called New York Mules, where you put that in with some ginger beer, and it's absolutely delicious. So it's a really nice, light, refreshing mixed drink that you can have a good time with. So I'm hoping to just enjoy the Invitational and do well enough that I don't feel embarrassed.
I mean, the Invitational, it's impossible to feel embarrassed there. It's I think when you experience it, you're going to see what a lot of us see. It's the best event of the year for us, DOG and friends. There's going to be some people there that's playing hard because it's some bragging rights when you win the Invitational because there's a lot of top talent there. You also have a lot of people that's here just to have fun. It's like the mix of both crowds, and even the people that are playing hard, they're playing friendly. They're playing with sportsmanship at the top because it's only friends. It's great. I mean, I'm super excited for it. For me, I'm super afraid that the new meta is going to be very vehicle heavy, and I don't know where that leaves crisis suits, and they're my favorite model in the game right now, and I love Gundams, so it's one of the reasons why I'm attracted to Tau. So I really want to ride out Tau just in case I don't like what it looks like in 10th. But going into the question, which I think is actually kind of cool, we never really talked about it. They're asking who is going to win the Invitational, and there's a lot of top talent there. I mean, Crowley, you're coming out to it, right? You're driving up or flying up to it.
I'm trying. I have not committed 100% because of the whole work thing, but I am absolutely trying.
Brad's gonna be there. I mean, we just seen Carrington.
I just can't stop looking at the fact that Brian's phasing through. I didn't even know he had superpowers. You were being possessed by the warp.
What's up, Mason? How's it going, brother?
Go.
For me, I was like laughing. At first, I was trying to keep like a straight face. I was talking because the way it's doing it, it makes it look like he's like it's like a Men in Black thing, where it's like an alien and like the illusion's failing.
Yeah, we knew it all along.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm in the game room. I'm upstairs in my game room with 8 bajillion models, and I have Tyranids all over the table in front of me because I'm just trying to sort some stuff out to do a little bit of inventory. So it wouldn't surprise me.
He is a gene stealer.
Back. Let's hypothetically say Steven's gonna be at the Invitational. Nick Rose, let's just say he's gonna be there because he's a hit or miss right now. PJ, so Pajama Pants is gonna be there. Brad's gonna be there. Tarantine, he's stepped up his play.
Jesus, I just thought about the fact of who's all going to be there. This tournament's going to be tough as shit.
There are 3 tournaments in the world.
Who do you think's going to win it, Brad?
I mean, besides me?
Besides you.
I'm going to say that if Rose shows up with his GSC, he's going to pull it out. Because that army is nasty. Just nasty.
All right. I like it. You know what we could actually, I don't think people like that idea. Never mind. I thought it'd be funny if if anyone plays top 50 last season at the event, we should do like a reverse draft. But it'd be kind of funny.
I don't know. Are challenges still going for the Invitational?
First round we do challenges. Yep.
Has anyone challenged Brad yet?
Yeah.
Well, I challenged Crowley to not come out first round if he shows up.
Brenton challenged Brad for round 1.
I think that shouldn't be the thing. I think Brad and I should have an old man off.
Round 2.
Oh, we could just make you guys play in a 3-way.
Oh.
I mean, we're going to have a 3-way. But
you had me a 3-way. What's happening? I zoned out for a second.
So Brad, you choosing Nick Rose. Good pick. I like it. Brian, who are you picking?
So if Nick is going to show, he would have been my pick, but Brad had to steal that from me.
Oh.
You can pick multiple people. Pick Rose.
I really think that GSC in Nick's hands, because he played them before when they were good. He's fallen back into playing them extremely well now. It's hard to pick against Nick. It's also for me, it's hard to pick against Crawley right now because I think he's just got some amazing confidence going on. And I know he seems a little shocked by that comment, but I think he's got his mojo going.
I mean, it's gonna be a sad day when he's knocked out round 1. So Well, Crowley, what are you going with?
I don't know. Wait, is it going to be Brad Chester there, or is it going to be Chad Brester there? Because that makes a big difference.
No, Brad actually is taking this one serious. It's
It's legit.
I mean, the event, like you're kind of still newer to DLG. Like you've been with us 6 months now, around there. It's a lot of bragging rights when you win the Invitational. There is a lot of top players there.
Dude, there's a belt.
Expensive ass belt on the line, bragging rights. Brad's going for it.
Oh, Corey.
Oh, shots fired, Crawley.
Corey. DOG? Is Corey going to be there?
I don't think he'll be there.
Because
I love you like you found a new call out.
I have to deny Tom's challenge at that point and throw down a gauntlet if someone's going to say that.
I'll let him have the crutch for the first game. Transhuman, not transhuman, doesn't matter to me. Crowley's getting knocked out in 2 rounds.
Oh, you heard that, Corey? You're a crutch, bro. Oh, you want me to play old school DA against you round 1? Even though you already promised you're going to play Sisters now? Remember when you promised that last stream?
Yeah. I'll beat you with any army you want. I can't lose to Crowley.
Do I get to pick the army?
Yes.
Oh, wait, whoa. Brad, I got an attic full of models.
Oh, man.
I'm down for it. Let's do it.
Man.
We'll
actually make it a big name army, too. You're like, what's going on? We're bringing Truck Rush GSC or Rhino Spam Imperial Fists. Let's do this.
So the thing is this. This is how I know I'm going to be. If it was me, all right, and someone challenged me, it's like, I'll even let you pick my army. I'll make sure they're the best army because I want to show that I beat them at their best. Crowley's already trying to figure out the worst army to give me because he knows he still can't win.
No, stop. What you said was
because it's the worst army.
We're going to beat me with Sisters. So I'm just holding you accountable to the garbage.
I'll beat you with anything. I ain't shy from. I'll beat you. Dude, you can give me a ground army. I'm gonna beat you with a ground.
I love everything about the fact that Tom can get anybody going. This is literally every weekend of every tournament. Tom just peeks in and goes, "Let me throw this grenade in here real quick," and then walks away.
All you need to do now is just start saying "baby boy" every other sentence, so that way you can trigger the rest of the community.
Let me what right now. I'm actually gonna make my pick now.
Oh, that's what we're doing. Anna's got it. We're in round 1, everyone pairs off and deploys, then all players rotate left.
Oh, I would love the heck out of that.
That'd be a sweet tournament, actually. I think we should actually implement that for like an actual event. That'd be kind of cool. Of course, Crowley's not gonna go Brandon. He's not gonna show up.
I have a much better idea. Here's what you do, okay? We put the armies down, we go have the captains talk, and then the person who's doing the paint judging puts the army trays on tables at random.
And then I'm doing the paint judging, so I like this idea.
You have to find your army to figure out what table you're playing.
Man, you got props and you got madness on. Corey goes, if I had to put my money on a Crowley winning the tournament, it would be his kid. Roland's showing up on the night. Horse.
Hey. For me though, I want to pick my pick. You know what? I think it's going to be one of 3 people, and no one's giving them the props. I think it's such a big deal to win the Invitational. I think 3 of our up-and-comers are going to take it serious, and they're going to come at us with some impressive efforts. I'm calling out to right now. I think Breton's going to show up with a different attitude, and Breton wants to prove.
And the new Tau. The new Tau mojo.
The Tau, yes. I think Breton has a great shot. I think, who's my second person? Matt Tarantine, defending champion. Matt Tarantine is gonna come rocking out there. He's got his Black Templars getting dialed in. I think he has a chance. He showed us some good things this weekend, and he took a lot of learning. With hanging out with me and Brad and talking a lot, so I think he's got a shot. And my third pick is my baby boy Lyle. I think Lyle he has a White Scars list that's built off of the way I play, and he was hitting me up this morning about it, and he had some really good ideas, things I haven't seen implemented in a while. I think it's not catching people off guard. Also, if he decides to play Tau, I mean, that man loved broadsides back before they got nerfed, and he kind of knows how to play them already. So,
click, boom.
Oh yeah. So I think 3 of our upcomers have a really good shot for it, and I think a lot of us like established guys are going to be caught off guard. I think they're going to do great. I mean, Crowley won't be caught off guard. He's going to be in a corner crying after he gets knocked out around 1. But the rest of us are like, damn, good job, guys.
I almost want to just deny your challenge just so that way when I'm at the top table and you got out early by somebody else, then I can just say I don't have to beat you. The others can. The up-and-comers got this.
Yeah, the thing is, you're already looking for an excuse to get out of the game. See? That's what I mean, everyone. So I told him I'm playing with sisters. I'll pick the Army first round. And now he's talking about, oh, maybe I should just avoid the match.
Yeah.
Or I could kind of rub it in your face. Okay, bro.
Yep.
So this is where I begin my obligatory, please like and subscribe. Please possibly go to our Patreon even. But it helps out a ton on the analytics for likes and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. It makes me happy. Maybe even joyous. And on that, everyone, it is time for us to.
I want to say one thing.
Nope.
One thing before you take us off. I want to thank everyone tonight. I know we had kind of a little bit slower of a show, and if you guys stuck with us long, it's because you love us, and you're the reason why we're getting us up, and we appreciate you guys. And hopefully, I'm not sick next week, and Crowley doesn't get too scared and walks in the middle of the show again, and we can give you guys.
He had to deal with his fear, bro. He had to deal with the fear. It's real.
Everyone knows I think Crowley's great, by the way, right?
Listen,
Everyone knows I'm kidding. I love this boy.
I have to go to the bathroom and drop a Tom, okay? That's it.
Yeah.
Oh. You know what? That's what we're ending on. Everybody, that's it.
Good
Mic
night.
drop.